And finally, we have Dr. Kimberly Parker, who is an educator and director of Harvard's Crimson Summer Academy and author of Literacy is Liberation, Working Toward Justice Through Culturally Relevant Teaching.
Dr. Parker, this question's for you.
Sure.
Your book, Literacy to Liberation, sends a powerful message to educators. Would you tell us more about your book?
Sure. Literacy is Liberation is a book I wrote after and in the process of teaching. I've been a teacher for about 20 years, Boston and Cambridge for the longest. And it comes from really questions about how do we sort of situate ourselves as practitioners and really do the hard work of our identity. And then how do we create really intentional literacy communities for kids? I focus a lot on kids who don't often get the high quality teachers or the time and the space to become really powerful writers. So it's a book that aims to do a few things, to help teachers to understand who they are as practitioners and also how to create spaces where kids, particularly ones who have not had all of the opportunities, can really thrive as powerful readers and writers.
That's awesome. Dr. Parker, how does the community affect the environment of the classroom?
I love that. I think so often, right, we don't think that community is important enough to spend the time building it in the classroom. And so then we wonder why kids don't do well, right? I think that so many folks disregard young people, right? And I think young people have so much to teach us, right, if we work in community with them. So I think that it's really important that we build the community first. We value what kids bring. We assume that they come into our classrooms with strengths always, right? Always assume that they have strengths. And then to figure out like what our stuff is that gets in the way. It's usually the adults that get in the way for kids. It always is. It always is. And then we need to think about like what does it mean to really have power with instead of power over? And I think, you know, right, like right now, classrooms are full of power over with kids, and we wonder why they're not reading and they're not writing. We don't think enough of them to actually change it.
That should be everywhere in school, honestly.
Yeah, I think I've noticed in my own experience too throughout high school that the second I started being surrounded by people who cared about what they were learning and about doing well in school was the moment that I also enjoyed learning. And something that one of my teachers said earlier today actually was, she said that if we stopped telling kids to come to school, they would start coming to school.
Well, I think also we have to give them a reason to come to school.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I think just in Boston, like what are they coming to school for? Are they coming to school to receive sort of subpar instruction? Are they coming to school to read books that they don't get to select? Are they coming to school to be in trouble, to go through security detectors? Right? Are they going to school to have experiences that we would not give to kids in the suburbs? Right? Like, it's always like we're blaming children for grown-up mistakes.
So my next question is one for all of you. And I guess this might also be a tough question. How much do your writings derive from your own personal experiences and whatever that may mean to you?
I think that as a teacher, I've always been, as a teacher, you want to model excellent practice for your students. So I was always a reader and a writer, right? And I think that my identity is throughout that book. I don't think you can write without sort of writing who you are. And so I wanted to sort of figure out what does that mean in spaces that help teachers sort of to do the work that we wanted to do. And also I knew that I had been poured into as a Black kid, right? Like I came from communities where people loved me, where they gave me everything I needed to read and write well. And I know that that's what all kids deserve, right? And so I'm very driven to make sure that everyone who reads that book will leave, will put it down and do something, right? Like, we don't do enough for kids. And so if that book can help, like, make one step for teachers, then it's worth it. I wrote Literacy is Liberation during the pandemic after talking to people and being in situations in classrooms and with colleagues where they would say, I really want to teach this book, but it has language in it, has the N-word in it, and I don't know what to do. Or I would hear from students who had teachers who had taught books and caused a tremendous amount of harm. And so I love, Portia, what you said about repair, right? I think there's so much repair work that we have to do in classrooms. And so it's a bigger goal, really, for teachers to stop having excuses, right? I can't. This book is an aim to help them do something immediately, right? It's written in a way, and I had a very good editor who said, we're going to make this a short book and one that can be read in a few sittings so that teachers feel like they can do something and have some agency. So then that impacts kids, right? Ultimately, I want to impact kids. I want to change their experience. I want teachers to feel like they're responsible for them. And again, like, I fight for the reading lives and the literacy lives of kids by any means necessary.
Wow, that's a very powerful message. What motivates you to write, and why did you choose this over anything else?
I write because I have questions, right? And I continue to write in different capacities. And it's when I have a significant question, right? My next book, I can't wait for those poems, the manuscript. My next book is about Black boys and writing. And it's only because I have so many questions. I have a son who's almost 10 tomorrow. And
Gemini stand up.
right, yes. And so much of it has been about, like, how do young children become writers, right? And what are the ways that schools either help or hinder that? And so it's always a process of thinking about how do I write myself into the page and then write with kids to think about, like, what's the world that we want and how can we make it?
Final question. For people who maybe don't enjoy writing as much as you or I, what value do you think writing would bring to someone who maybe doesn't currently do it very often or doesn't enjoy it?
And I think, too, that we should just be honest that for all writers, right, the bestsellers, the Pulitzer Prize winners, writing is hard, right? And I think that we do a disservice to all writers when we just think that you're going to sit down and create this beautiful prose. That doesn't happen for anyone, right? We should be honest about it. And also, we should acknowledge all the ways we already write. Right, if each one of us just thought about today, all of the ways you wrote, right, that's powerful. And I don't think we do enough to help young children, adolescents, grown-ups understand that we are already writers, right? It's the audience, the purpose, the genre that trips us up, right? If we're all writing a 5-paragraph essay, which actually isn't even really a thing, right? It's not. It's not. But if that's all you're writing, you're going to hate it. Right? You are. You're going to hate it. And so I think the work is to open up the opportunities for writing in these real, authentic ways and to practice, right? Workshop. I'm a workshop person till, like, my dying day, right? Like, what does it mean to really, like, work with a piece or pieces and have conversations about them and revise, right? We're always in a state of revising. Right? It's just like life. But to really invite people in as writers, knowing that we are all writers, right? And it's hard for all of us. And if we do this thing together, right, we can rewrite and write in all of these really powerful ways.